Hello everybody, welcome along. My name is Benjamin Bloom. This is the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel. Please leave your bias at the door and join us for our Premier League preview show. It is dearly departed round 37, one midweek round to go, and then it's the final round at the weekend. And we have got through a very busy season, and it is a very busy time for me at the moment. Playoffs everywhere, so we've got to fit in this preview show with a 3-game week in the Premier League right now after doing the review show yesterday. Up to my neck in it, but we love it. We're going to talk about, well, a possible Leeds push, maybe higher than their current position in the top half of the table. Villa trying to catch them up. And then we've got our 3 relegated teams where the story is more about team news and what's going to be happening going forward and indeed going into next season. We're going to have a look at all 5 of our teams, 5 separate games, and we're going to get to that in just a minute. But first, we're going to say thank you to Mr. J. Coyle, who is our fan sponsor, dearly departed, also known as Ben. Couldn't bear to lose us. Thank you to Jay, who's been sponsoring us all season. You too can help support the channel over on Patreon. Let's have a look at the round 37 midweek fixtures. And they are all split over 2 nights there. You can see you've got 4 tonight, which is Tuesday. Now, we're recording just prior to lunchtime on Tuesday. And then the remaining 6 the following night. And we have a split of 2 dearly departed games on Tuesday, 3 on Wednesday. It is Manchester United versus Fulham. Nice easy one for relegated Fulham. Southampton versus Leeds. That's an important one, isn't it? We're going there first. Brighton versus champions Manchester City. Chelsea versus Leicester. Literally played in the FA Cup final at the weekend. Who'd have thunk it? Everton versus Wolves. Newcastle versus Sheffield United on the bottom. Spurs versus Aston Villa. Can they get back into the top half? Crystal Palace versus Arsenal. We'll be having a look at that one. A good glance there in Leeds' sights, along with Everton fairly close by as well. Burnley versus Liverpool. And then we've got the last game as well on the Wednesday, the 8:15, is West Ham visiting the Hawthorns and West Brom in a Big Sam derby. You love to see it. That's your fixtures. We're going to go from the highest ranked to the lowest ranked and have a look at what we think is going to happen in each one. Let's start with Southampton versus Leeds. When you see that fixture, you think of that 7-0, don't you? In the 70s and the Rabona pass and Leeds team under Don Revie. Well, I do. Anyway, put it down in the comments if that's the first thing you think of when you see that fixture coming up. I know it was at Elland Road, wasn't it? So, all eyes on, really, 9th place and 8th place for Leeds now. Some optimism. Maybe that's where we come a cropper when we get a bit optimistic here on Dearly Departed. But a couple of good results. 3, 4, 6 points in those last couple of games. And there's a possibility that Leeds can get higher than 10th position. We'll just focus on this round where we've got Arsenal visiting Crystal Palace, Everton at home to Wolves, Leeds away here at Southampton. Southampton, back-to-back wins for those guys as well. In fact, if you look at the last 4 games, draw, loss, win, win for both sides down there. Southampton have done it against Leicester, Liverpool, Crystal Palace and Fulham. Leeds have done it against Manchester United, Brighton, Tottenham and Burnley. So not easy runs for either sides there in picking up 7 points across the 4 games. Southampton have got Ings back up front in their team. Ward-Prowse looked good, which is good news for England fans. He's likely to be around that squad when it gets thinned down to... It's 26 now, isn't it? So there's a chance he gets in there. Now, Leeds have, in typical Bielsa fashion, Leeds have let Robin Koch and Matthias Klick finish the season early ahead of the Euros. It's essentially 1 week to go. There's 2 games. But so we know that Cock and Click are not going to be involved. Cock wasn't involved at the weekend as a starter. Click was. Liam Cooper will also be returning as well. So it's an interesting one to try and pick out what's going to happen with this Leeds team. Bielsa doesn't really do rotation. Most normal managers, and you'd be saying, oh, well, he'll do this in midweek and then he'll do this at the weekend. No, he won't really. There's normally a very clear line through all the fixtures. None of this one team here and one team there. So Meslier, well, Ayling will definitely play. Llorente's been very good. I have a funny feeling that Cooper comes back in for Strauch, just because he's the captain and Bielsa loves to use him. If it is the 3 rows of 3, then you wouldn't think Alioski, Phillips and Dallas would change, or Rafinha or Harrison. So then it's just a case of, is it Tyler Roberts or Rodrigo in for Mateus Click? I mean, defensive-wise, are they fairly well covered with Dallas and Phillips and Alioski all in there? Can they stick Rodrigo in off Bamford? I don't know. You tell me. Excellent cameo from Rodrigo, though. Scored 2 goals. So my feeling is it would be Cooper in for Strauch and Rodrigo in for Click. Let me know what you think in the comments. And if Leeds were to get the victory, Arsenal are playing on Wednesday, and so are Everton. So they could put the pressure really, really on. And look at the goal difference there. A victory, Everton +3, Leeds +4. A victory would put Leeds into 8th position with about 5 days of the season to go, which is just tremendous, isn't it? So we'll see if they can do it. I don't think this one's cut and dried. I really don't. Remember, Hassan Hootel has got that counter-press system down, and he's got Ings and Adams. He's got Ward-Prowse on the set plays. So I do think there's a goal in it for Southampton. And as much as I'm trying to temper myself getting excited about Leeds possibly, 9th or 8th place, I think, and Leeds might get a win at the weekend. They've got West Brom at the weekend. I think this one might be a scoring draw. I don't know. I just don't want to get too carried away. And I do see Southampton on the score sheet in this one, I have to say. So I'm going to go for a draw. I'm going to keep nice and calm, but I will repeat, a win. And Leeds will be 8th going into Wednesday's fixtures. Pressure on Arsenal and Everton. Who would have thought we would have been saying that? I'm going to go for a draw, which would mean by Wednesday, no climb. But depending on what Aston Villa are going to do on Wednesday, that could be enough to seal 10th place. I mean, if Villa were to lose anyway, it doesn't matter what Leeds do. So these are all good things to be discussing, all first world problems. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm going for a draw. It's Southampton versus Leeds. Moving on to the aforementioned Spurs versus Villa, or the aforementioned Villa, and the game is Spurs versus Villa. Spurs have been good at home lately, haven't they? You can see that defeat there away to Leeds, draw up at Everton, but the last 3 home games, 2-1 win over Southampton, 4-0 win over Sheffield United, 2-0 win over Wolves. You can see it's getting slightly more difficult. It's worked up to Wolves there, and then Villa obviously a place higher than their West Midlands, Black Country, whatever way you want to describe it, local-ish rivals over there. Interesting story developing yesterday about Harry Kane. Wonder whether that could unsettle him. I doubt it. He seems one of the most focused and brilliant footballers you'll see. So maybe I'm clutching at straws there, hoping Kane's going to misfire because of this. Probably have the opposite effect and it'll probably be even more effective. Ryan Mason has been going for a very fun front four there of Heung-min Son, Dele Alli, Gareth Bale and Harry Kane. Obviously, Jose Mourinho didn't like to use Gareth Bale or Dele Alli. Either of them really, let alone both of them together. So There's goals in it, but there is a sense that in the dugouts you have a very experienced Dean Smith against a far, far less experienced Ryan Mason. So can he pick them off there, I wonder. In terms of that Villa team, we know that Sanson, Cash, Trezeguet are not going to make it. Mings trained yesterday, we're hearing, and I think he'll play. I think if Mings is anywhere near fit, no disrespect to Courtney Hauser, but I think Mings is going to come back into the team. And then the question is just Jack Grealish, isn't it? He's been out for a long, long while. And you're starting to think, especially with your England hat on, and I am thinking more England than Aston Villa here, get him in, start him. If he can't do 90 minutes, get him off after the hour. But he's been slowly dripped back in. They've been very careful. 2 sub appearances. Look, it's either going to be a start and 60 minutes and then probably a start at the weekend, or it's going to be a sub and then a start at the weekend. I'd like to see him back in, but not before it's too early. Of course, if he does come back in, maybe they're going to go back to the 4-2-3-1, which would probably see Jacob Ramsey step out. And, I mean, I don't know who they'd use at number 10, but really any of Grealish, El Ghazi or Traore could play 10, but I'm sure Grealish would be incorporated in his first choice position off the front on the left. Look, it's hard. It's Spurs. That front four. If the game was at Villa Park, I'd be thinking differently. But even with the Kane rumours and possible signals that he's going to be leaving Spurs, I do think there's enough goals in this for Spurs. I think they're going to get a couple. And I think that that's going to give them the win, which doesn't fill me with much joy with my dearly departed hat on. But I have to call it as I see it. And Spurs at home have been decent. So look, I'm going to go for a Spurs victory in this one. Do let me know what you think, particularly as it pertains to Mings. Does he come back in or not? And Grealish, how do you use him? Very, very interesting one, but we're going to go for a Spurs win in this one. Hope I'm wrong with my dearly departed hat on. But there you go. Let me know what you think in the comments. Spurs versus Villa. And, as I said, nice easy one for Fulham, who are going to go up against a bit of a wounded Manchester United, who you can see have lost back-to-back games there. They were in excellent form and kept kind of stopping Manchester City being able to just lift up that trophy, but then the back-to-back defeats, and Manchester City are the champions now. Manchester United look nailed on for second place. There's a 4-point gap over rivals Leicester there, who did beat them very recently. It was Leicester and Liverpool in back-to-back home defeats in the space of a couple of days. Leicester's maximum upside now is 72. So Manchester United know one win confirms second place, whatever it is Leicester do. They went with the big guns, particularly up top against Liverpool, came a cropper, but at the back they're missing, obviously Harry Maguire is bad news. It was Eric Bailly with Victor Lindelof, but still Rashford, Fernandes, Pogba, Cavani up top. Perhaps we'll see Greenwood coming back in for this one against Fulham, who are already down. And yeah, I mean, I don't know how long that form goes back, but it's 1 point in the last 6 games we've got up on the screen. I'm just looking on my laptop out of shot here. It goes back, it only goes back 1 more game than that, but still. Oh no, 2 more games than that. 1 point in 8 games for Fulham, which is, yes, obviously the run that's essentially meant that they've kind of gone down with a bit of a whimper, Fulham, haven't they? In the end. Scott Parker trying out some bits and bobs there. Iain in midfield, Fabio Carvalho in at right wing back, and he gets the goal. Josh Onuma got a game, so look, it's going to be hard to pick out what Parker is going to do. I think, given the run of what's been going on for Fulham, given that Manchester United just need that one win and they've had a couple of home defeats. I fear for Fulham in this one, and I can't really see them getting anything in the game. We said about Fulham, they just want to get this done now. Same with the other two relegated teams already. There's only a few days left, and a lot of sorting out then needs to go on in the summer. Perhaps some Fulham players, some of the loanees maybe, have played their last games. If you look, no Lookman, no Loftus-Cheek in that starting lineup as well. Lamina not anywhere to be seen as well. We don't suspect Joachim Andersen they'll be able to convert that, or Areola. So it's going to be the start of a big turnaround for Fulham. Whether they apply that now and start to pop in players who are definitely going to be there next season or not. Got to be careful with that, especially going up against the likes of Pogba, Fernandes, Rashford, Greenwood, Cavani, Martial, blah, blah, blah. Whatever happens, I can see Manchester United winning this one. So I'll go for a Manchester United win. You let me know what you think in the comments. Manchester United versus Fulham. And in that Big Sam derby, it's West Brom versus West Ham. Talking to a West Ham fan in the chat yesterday, said a bit of a fizzle out. And I guess it is, looking at those last 5 games. Only 4 points for the Hammers. And you got Spurs there in 6th. Everton on the shoulder a little bit, but they're faltering as well. Liverpool, though, 11 points in 5 versus West Ham's 4 points in 5. And you can see the trajectory of the teams there. Spurs also 9 points in the last 4. Look, if West Ham do finish 7th, then that would, of course, be an excellent season. But a few weeks ago, we thought it could be even higher than that. Still getting the big guns that have got them up there out on the pitch. That looks very, very strong in their last game against Brighton, but only the draw for David Moyes and his men. But hey, look, Brighton, 14 draws. They've been the draw specialists in this division. So plenty of other teams have got that result. For West Brom, well, their relegation was confirmed against Arsenal. They lost in the 95th minute to a header from a keeper against Liverpool. So, look, ifs, buts and maybes, but yeah, that went against them, didn't it, in stoppage time. Looking at the team, Dean Garner now back in. Is that ready for the Championship? Hal Robson-Kanu, I believe the contract is expiring as well. Is he playing for the future? I don't know. Johnston, there's going to be suitors. Pereira, there's going to be suitors. Yokuslu and Gallagher are on loan. And then really, in the main, look, Johnston, Furlong, Ajayi, Bartley, Townsend, Dean Garner, Phillips, Pereira, Robson-Kanu. That's the team that got them promoted, isn't it? The core of the team that got them promoted. Give or take Livermore and Sawyers in that central midfield. So, you know, it is a bit therein lies the issue, isn't it? I don't suspect we'll see Diania again as well if Robson-Kanu was tried out front. Carlin Grant as well. It feels like a very experimental time. I suspect this one will be a tight one. I do feel West Brom, we've looked at the numbers in their games. I do feel that they can get something out of this. So I'm going to go for a draw. Moyes versus Allardyce. You love to see it, don't you? I'll go for a draw. Let's assume that Allardyce has in the main got the pattern of play going. We've looked at the numbers, haven't we? And West Brom do continually have big chances, not concede too many, but it's been fine margins. And in my estimation, I think if Allardyce had been there a couple of months earlier, maybe some of these fine margins would be going the other way and West Brom would be winning games. But hey, he didn't get there 2 months early. They are relegated and we've got to move on. But look, I'll go for a draw in this one. You let me know what you think in the comments. West Brom versus West Ham. And finally, Newcastle United versus Sheffield United. Newcastle in a 4-3 home defeat to Manchester City the other night. They're having a lovely old time. Steve Bruce, manager of the month, scoring goals. Okay, they lost to the champions, but it's been a huge pickup for Newcastle to get to 39 points, hasn't it? Excellent little run by Steve Bruce at the end. They're 12 clear of relegation. And, I don't know, something building there, is there? If St Maximin can play more next season, can keep Joe Linton and Callum Wilson fit. Willock, have they got any possible chance of signing him? He's a very good player. isn't he? So things are looking good. It's a trend up, and surely Newcastle fans, I know they get fed up with Mike Ashley and kind of fed up with Steve Bruce by proxy of his, I think he's damned by association, isn't it? But surely some happiness, particularly, look at that, 2-1 win over Burnley, 3-2 over West Ham, draw at Liverpool, defeat to Arsenal, big win over Leicester, 3-4 home defeat there, but plenty of goals going in, plenty of points, 10 points in the last 6. Smile, Newcastle fans, I'm sure. Obviously, big picture, they'll be worried about Ashley and things going forward, but they've survived again. Sheffield United have not survived, although they do have 6 points in the last 4 games, wins and clean sheets against Brighton and against Everton. The name on everybody's lips was Daniel Jebinson, and Paul Heckingbottom says no reason why he can't start again, and I suspect he will start again up at Newcastle. He scored the winning goal, the youngster. It's a good news story. Sheffield United need that, don't they? No Sander Berger in the starting lineup for the Blades last time. He is being heavily linked away. I've said for the longest time, who are the saleable assets? Jack O'Connell and Sander Berger. Obviously, Jack O'Connell has had a long injury, so whether that means that someone wouldn't necessarily take a punt on him and his fitness returning to what it was, and maybe he will be in the Championship next season, just rehabilitating himself. But Sander Berger, young, came in for a big fee. That one looks fairly nailed on that he'll go out before the Championship starts next season, and that'll put some money in the coffers, won't it? Otherwise, Ramsdale, Basham, Egan, Robinson, Bulldog, Stevens, Norwood, Fleck, McGoldrick, Jebinson, Osborne. Don't see really too many changes in that, unless Paul Heckingbottom wants to line up some players ready for next season. Could he give Keane Bryan a go? I don't know, Max Lowe, Jayden Bogle. I'm not sure on injuries on those guys. To be fair, Rhian Brewster as well. Who knows? It's a difficult one, this, because I think Newcastle will fancy this, and I think Steve Bruce will be telling his team, look, can you get up another position or 2? Can you get another 4 points on the board? Maybe another position is, with Southampton 4 points away, is the most realistic. But I do think Newcastle are going to win this game, and I do think they're going to inflict defeat number 29 on Sheffield United, who have at least got over the 20-point mark. Let me know what you think in the comments. And yeah, have a think about Sander Berger and saleable assets and how you retool going ahead next season if you are Sheffield United. There we go. That's our show. Thank you again to Jay Coyle, who sponsors these shows. Dearly departed, also known as Ben. Couldn't bear to lose us. Damn right I couldn't bear to lose all the fans of these teams. And next season, dearly departed. Lots of people have been asking, once a team is up and they are dearly departed, if they stay up, they stay dearly departed. So this show next season will cover Leeds, Aston Villa, Norwich, Watford, and we can now say the favourites in the playoffs, because they've got a goal advantage each, are Swansea and Bournemouth. I don't rule out Barnsley and Brentford as well. Be one of those 4 teams as well, be joining the dearly departed next season. That is our Premier League preview show for round 37. I've had my say. Now you have yours down there in the comments, particularly as it pertains to, with those relegated teams, what develops now, what's going on next season. Pick me out your players who are going to, hopefully for those teams, have them in the top 2, top 4, top 6, top 8, wherever they're going to be next season in the Championship. Lovely stuff. Very, very busy week, so I'll call it quits there. I'll say thank you for watching. And the Dearly Departed review show for this will be, I think we'll be able to try and fit it in on Thursday. So join me for that when we talk about all of those 5 games we've just previewed. And hopefully lots of wins, lots of goals, lots of points for our Dearly Departed. Because that hasn't been the case very often this season, has it? Thank you for watching. Over and out. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button to see more videos from this channel. Hit the subscribe button, and to be notified every time we upload, ring the bell for those notifications to come through on your device. If you really want to support the channel and me as a content creator, I will be eternally grateful if you head over to the merch store and grab something, or support over on Patreon, patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. Thank you for your time. Go and watch another video.